The arrival. The morning sky above Earth was clear when it began to change. At first, people thought it was just another satellite launch or some strange cloud pattern, but soon the light grew brighter, stretching across the heavens like a wound opening in space. Then one by one, colossal alien ships emerged from the void, their metallic hulls glimmering in the sunlight. They blocked out the sun, casting enormous shadows over oceans and continents. Every nation looked upward, speechless as the impossible became real. From the United Earth Command Tower in Geneva, screens flickered with warnings and energy spikes. Technicians shouted coordinates, satellites tried to lock on, but the data made no sense. Each ship was the size of a small city, armored, and radiating power no human technology could match, at least not on the surface. Within minutes, global networks crashed under the flood of alien transmissions. Then the voice came calm and confident, echoing through every device, every speaker, every radio channel. This is the Galactic Union Peace Fleet, arriving to ensure the protection of the species known as humanity. The message repeated in hundreds of languages, clear and cold. Your civilization is located in a volatile region. You are under our protection. Do not resist. For a few moments, the world stood frozen. Billions listened, afraid and fascinated, in the skies above. The alien fleet formed a perfect sphere around Earth, a cage of light. Military commanders across the planet prepared defense codes, but were told to hold position. No one fired, no one dared, but inside those command centers, among generals and scientists, there was something unusual, an undercurrent of quiet amusement. General Marcus Hale leaned back in his chair, eyes fixed on the holographic feed of the alien formation. He didn't look frightened, he looked entertained. His aide whispered nervously, "Sir, should we activate orbital defenses?" The general smiled faintly. "No, let's hear what our new friends have to say first." In the silence that followed, he turned to his officers, and a few of them were hiding grins. It wasn't arrogance, it was something deeper, something built from centuries of survival and silent preparation. Across the world, leaders gathered in encrypted communication links. The president of the Unified Earth Council spoke softly. "So they've come to protect us." Someone laughed quietly on the other end. "Protect us from what?" Another voice answered, "From ourselves, perhaps." They knew what the aliens couldn't possibly imagine. Earth was not as defenseless as it seemed. From hidden stations beneath the oceans, from mountain bunkers, and from silent satellites cloaked above the clouds, the true guardians of Earth watched. Sensors recorded every alien signal, every weapon signature, every movement. The human defense network didn't panic. It observed, it learned, it waited. Because this wasn't the first time outsiders had come to test humanity. Only this time the test would end differently. On the alien flagship, Commander Tyron observed Earth through a shimmering screen of data. The planet's defenses appeared non-existent. No energy shields, no planetary cannons, no orbital ships. To him, it was a simple mission: secure the world, establish protection, and report success to the Galactic Union Council. He turned to his officers and said, "Primitive but beautiful. Such worlds always need guidance." His second-in-command bowed. "The humans should be honored we arrived before others found them." Tyron smiled proudly, unaware that his words would become the greatest mistake of his life. Back on Earth, inside the European Space Command, laughter quietly spread among the engineers. They listened to the alien messages repeating through the airwaves and shook their heads. One of them muttered, "They think we're children." Another replied, "Then let them believe it. The longer they think that, the bigger their shock will be." For decades, humanity had worked in secret, hidden beneath the veil of peaceful exploration. Projects that never reached the public eye. Technologies that defied galactic expectations, all sleeping, waiting ready. That night, as the alien fleet positioned itself around the planet, their lights shimmering like false stars, human cities returned to their routine. Children played under the alien glow, unaware that history was shifting. The media called it the Day of First Contact, but those within Earth Command had another name for it: the Day of Testing. General Hale stood before a massive window overlooking Geneva, his reflection merging with the alien lights outside. He whispered to himself, "They came to protect us." Then a faint, knowing smile crossed his face. Let them try. Deep in orbit, one of Earth's silent platforms awoke, its sensors humming softly. Its black hull shimmered for a moment, then vanished again into the darkness. Hidden far beyond the moon, Human ships slept beneath cloaking fields, their systems pulsing with quiet energy. Their names were simple: Aegis, Resolute, Dauntless, ships built not for fear but for the day humanity might need to remind the stars who they were. And that day was coming sooner than anyone realized. The alien commander gazed down upon Earth with pride, believing his fleet stood unchallenged, but far below, humanity was smiling. The kind of smile that came not from arrogance but from quiet power. The kind of smile that made even the stars seem to tremble. Because while the galaxy thought Earth was fragile, humanity knew a truth the universe had forgotten. They were the storm behind the silence, and the silence was about to end. The offer of protection the next morning, the alien fleet shimmered brighter than sunrise. Their ships aligned in perfect formation above Earth's blue horizon. Their leader, Commander Tyron, ordered a global transmission, his voice calm but dripping with authority. People of Earth, we come not as conquerors but as guardians. Your world stands in danger. We are here to protect you. Every city across the planet fell silent again. Screens flickered with the alien crest, an emblem of 12 glowing stars around a single flame. It looked noble, peaceful even, but every human watching could feel the arrogance hidden beneath those words. In the United Earth Command Center, representatives from every continent sat together. The president of the council leaned forward, his voice low. Protection? From whom? An advisor replied quietly. From themselves. Apparently, and a few soft chuckles filled the room. The transmission continued. Your species is young, impulsive. You have not yet earned the right to walk among the stars freely. Tyron's eyes glimmered with superiority. But the Galactic Union will guide you, shelter you, and preserve your world from harm. As he spoke, holograms of alien fleets and colonies appeared behind him. Cities of light and floating towers meant to impress. But humanity didn't look impressed. Humanity looked amused. In the silence of the command chamber, General Marcus Hale whispered to the others. They believe we're infants reaching for fire. The Asian delegate smiled faintly. And soon they'll find out we were the ones who built the match. Outside the tower, the world watched the broadcast unfold on every channel. The alien leader's tone was almost parental. You must deactivate all orbital weapons and surrender your space programs for review. Once we confirm your compliance, we will station our peacekeepers here. On the screen, his silver eyes seemed to pierce through every home, every viewer, but to humanity it didn't inspire fear. It inspired laughter. A news anchor in New York couldn't contain herself and burst out mid-broadcast. Did he just say we should surrender space? Clips of laughter began spreading across the internet, from memes to jokes about galactic babysitters. But inside the highest levels of Earth's defense, the laughter was quieter, colder, sharper. Because they knew this was not a bluff, the aliens truly thought Earth was weak enough to be managed. And that was exactly what humanity wanted them to think. In orbit, alien drones scanned the planet's surface. They found no railguns, no plasma turrets, no visible fleet. All they saw were commercial satellites and human space stations. Primitive, fragile, outdated. Tyron's second in command, a violet-skinned officer named Relta, sneered. Pathetic, they've barely mastered fusion engines. They'll welcome our protection. Tyron nodded confidently, unaware of the thousands of cloaked human constructs silently observing them from the shadows. The pathetic humans were listening, measuring, learning, every word, every emission, every frequency was being recorded. The humans didn't shout, they waited that night. The Galactic Union's broadcast center on the flagship sent one more message. People of Earth, do not misunderstand. We offer peace and safety, not conflict, but if you resist, we will act. It was meant as a warning. But on Earth, the reaction was unexpected. In cities around the globe, laughter spread like wildfire. In restaurants, cafes, and schools, people played the alien speech on repeat, mocking the tone and arrogance. Some edited videos with subtitles, Alien Dad grounding humanity for being naughty. The internet turned the threat into comedy. But behind that humor was something else, a quiet signal. Every human operative knew what the laughter meant. It was the call to readiness in a hidden base beneath Antarctica. Technicians stared at monitors showing the alien fleet's every move. One of them whispered, "They think we're laughing out of fear," another replied. "No, we're laughing because they still think they're in control." Across Earth, underground bunkers opened. Deep-sea power conduits hummed to life. The defense grid remained cloaked, invisible, untouchable. but it was awake now, its systems whispering like thunder beneath the calm. Meanwhile, in orbit, Commander Tyron studied Earth with a frown. The human response confused him. Every other world they had protected had fallen into submission quickly, but Earth's leaders sent no response. No compliance, no fear. Instead, they sent silence, and somewhere in that silence, faint laughter echoed through radio channels. It was quiet, distorted, but unmistakably human. Tyron clenched his jaw. "Mockery," he hissed. "They mock the Union." Relta nodded uneasily. "Their behavior is illogical. Primitive minds should be grateful, not proud." Tyron turned toward the stars. "Then we will remind them of their place." But far below, in the command center buried under the Rocky Mountains, General Hale stood before a large holographic globe of the alien fleet. He watched the glowing enemy dots surrounding Earth like a cage of light. His expression was calm, almost cold. "They want to protect us," he said softly, "but soon, they'll understand what that means." The officers around him nodded. Orders were transmitted silently to the Lunar Command Outpost. "Stand by for signal dawn," the message read. It wasn't a call to attack, not yet. It was a reminder that humanity's peace was not born from fear, but from preparation. As midnight came, the alien fleet's lights glowed softly above the darkened Earth. Tyron stared at the blue planet below, confident that by morning, humanity would submit. But on the surface, in bunkers, bases, and silent ships waiting among the stars, humans smiled under their breath. The laughter wasn't mockery, it was prophecy, because soon that laughter would shake the galaxy itself. And for the first time, the so-called protectors would understand what it meant when humanity laughed. It meant war was already lost, and the universe just didn't know it yet. The silent orbital defense for 3 long days, the alien fleet remained motionless above Earth, their glowing hulls glinting like a wall of arrogance against the blue planet below. Commander Tyron grew impatient, confused by humanity's lack of reaction. No surrender, no panic, no pleas for help, just calm broadcasts, daily routines, and laughter that seemed to echo across every open frequency. He mistook it for foolishness, but it was something else entirely. Something older, sharper, hidden deep in the soul of humanity. Inside the United Earth Command's underground war room, the lights were dim, the air humming with quiet tension. Dozens of holographic displays flickered with live feeds from secret satellites and cloaked stations orbiting the moon. Every alien movement, every energy pulse, every transmission was being analyzed by supercomputers deep beneath the Rockies. General Hale stood silently before a massive display showing the alien formation, a cage of ships encircling Earth. He spoke without turning. "They think we're unarmed." His aide nodded. "And that's exactly what we want them to believe." Far above the planet, invisible to every alien sensor, Earth's true shield watched and waited. The orbital defense grid wasn't made of plasma cannons or missile pods. It was built from ghosts, black satellites the size of trucks, coded in adaptive stealth, powered by silent nuclear hearts. They drifted among the stars, cloaked, unseen, their systems whispering to each other in encrypted pulses. To alien scanners, they were cosmic dust, harmless debris, but one coded signal could awaken them all, and if that happened, space itself would ignite, deep within one of these hidden satellites. A single red light flickered. "Sentinel Node 1 online," the AI whispered, its synthetic voice calm and cold. Another responded, "Grid link established." Awaiting prime directive, from beneath the Atlantic Ocean, an encrypted pulse rose through the darkness. It reached the orbiting ghosts in silence, spreading like a ripple through the void. "Prepare observation mode," the command read. "Maintain cloak. Record all hostile vectors." No weapons were fired, no signal betrayed their existence. Humanity was watching, but the galaxy had no idea how closely. Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, Tyron sat before a vast holomap of Earth's orbit. He frowned as his science officers reported. "No defense systems detected, Commander. Only outdated satellites and communication arrays." Relta nodded smugly. "As expected, their species is still dependent on primitive weaponry." But one young alien technician hesitated, her silver eyes narrowing. "Sir, there are anomalies in the debris field near lunar orbit. Tiny energy fluctuations, rhythmic, unnatural." Tyron waved his hand dismissively. "Irrelevant, these humans can barely reach their own moon." His arrogance sealed his fate. At that same moment, far beyond Mars, a shadow moved. It was not an asteroid, not a station, but a human ship. Black as night, silent as thought, it drifted among the stars without light or signature. Its name was Eidolon, the first of the Spectre-class stealth dreadnoughts. Inside its hull, Captain Laura Vega sat in silence, staring at the holographic projection of Earth. Her crew spoke in whispers, their voices tight with restrained energy. "Fleet Command says to stay hidden," one officer said. "No engagement until phase dawn," Vega nodded, her gaze unwavering. "They'll learn soon enough," she murmured. "We don't need protection, we're the reason stars have peace." Down on Earth, the mood among humans had shifted. What began as curiosity turned to quiet confidence. Children drew alien ships in classrooms, calling them the floating babysitters. But in secret bases, engineers and soldiers prepared for the unthinkable. Dr. May Aurora, head of Orbital Defense Systems, stood before a glowing console. Her hands trembled not from fear but from anticipation. 30,000 orbital ghosts, she whispered. "And they haven't seen a single one," her assistant smiled. "The best defense is the one no one believes exists." Then, on the fourth night, the alien fleet began scanning again, harder, deeper, their beams slicing through atmosphere and cloud. One of their patrol cruisers drifted too close to the debris field, its sensors brushing against something invisible. For a split second, its systems froze, then came a whisper across its comms. "Warning, restricted zone. Disengage." The alien pilot's eyes widened. Who said that? No human channel had opened, no signal detected. But the voice had spoken from the darkness itself. Tyron received the report and sneered. "Empty threats. Illusions, they're bluffing." He ordered the fleet to advance closer. That was the moment humanity stopped watching and started counting. In the hidden control room of the Eidolon, Captain Vega's voice was steady. "Target acquisition locked. Mark all hostile energy signatures," her officer replied. "Grid standing by, all ghosts synchronized." The captain smiled faintly. "Let them feel us breathe for just half a second." Space around Earth shimmered, alien sensors spiked, their instruments detecting massive energy fields, but then everything vanished. To them it was an error. A glitch. To humanity it was a warning. Commander Tyron leaned forward, his claws gripping the console. "What was that?" His technician stammered. "Unknown disturbance, no known source. The planet is emitting strange interference." Tyron glared at Earth's blue curve below. "Then remove the interference," he ordered coldly. And as his fleet began to descend toward low orbit, humanity watched through invisible eyes. Every satellite, every platform, every cloak ship awake now, pulsing with restrained fury. The grid waited for one order, the one signal that would change everything. In the silence of the command bunker, General Hale finally turned to his communication officer. His voice was calm, unshaken. "They've chosen to move first." He raised his hand slightly, the signal baton glowing red in the dim light. "Then it's time they see who they're protecting." And somewhere deep above, unseen by any eye or machine, Earth's hidden weapons whispered to life, their barrels humming in the dark. The stars held their breath. Because in that quiet moment before dawn, humanity's silence was no longer submission. It was the calm before revelation, the laughter heard across the stars. The following dawn broke with golden light over Earth's horizon, but above that calm glow the alien fleet gleamed like a storm about to strike. Thousands of alien vessels, all armed and proud, hovered in perfect orbit, their engines purring like predators waiting for permission to kill. Commander Tyron stood on the command bridge of his flagship. Eyes locked on the spinning planet below, he believed this world was his to protect or control. If needed, to him humanity's silence was submission, its laughter mere nervous denial. He couldn't imagine that those very laughs were the universe's final warning. Across Earth, every news channel still replayed the same alien speech. People joked, made memes, even danced to remixed versions of the Galactic Union anthem. But inside Earth's deepest bunkers and silent ships drifting in the void, the tone had changed. Humanity was no longer laughing out of humor. It was laughing out of certainty. The kind of laughter that came from a predator surrounded by prey that didn't know it yet. In the United Earth Command Tower, the room was dimly lit, every screen alive with alien telemetry. General Marcus Hale stood at the center, hands clasped behind his back, his calm presence the eye of a growing storm. "Any word from the Union flagship?" he asked. An operator shook her head. They've begun transmitting across the galactic relay, sir. Hale raised an eyebrow. Broadcasting? Yes, sir, she replied. They're telling the galaxy that humanity has accepted protection. A ripple of quiet amusement spread through the command room, and then a single laugh broke the silence. It started small from a communications officer, but soon spread through the entire hall. It wasn't the laugh of fear, but of disbelief, of power hidden too long. Hale smiled faintly. Then let's make sure they remember what kind of species they just lied about. Meanwhile, in the heart of the alien flagship, Tyron stood before a grand holocom. Addressing billions of viewers across the stars, his voice echoed through the cosmos. We have secured the human world, peace has been restored, and the Galactic Union now safeguards this sector. But just as the broadcast reached its peak, a second signal interrupted it. The image flickered, distorted, and suddenly, a human appeared on the same transmission. General Hale's face filled every alien display, his uniform crisp, his gaze sharp and unwavering. Commander Tyron, he said, his tone even, you speak of peace, yet your ships aim their weapons at our home. He paused, leaning closer toward the camera. Tell me, Commander, do you even know who you're threatening? The galaxy froze. The alien delegates watching from their distant worlds went silent. No species had ever dared interrupt a Galactic Union transmission before. Tyron's claws tightened on his command rail. Trace that signal, he barked, but every officer shook their heads. The origin was impossible to locate. It came from everywhere and nowhere, bouncing between satellites, stations and untraceable networks. Humanity's voice was everywhere. Like an echo in the void, then it happened. The laughter began again, but this time not from Earth, it came from the stars. Carried by human colonies across the solar system, from miners on Ceres, from scientists on Europa, from the shadow fleets near Jupiter, the laughter spread through comm channels, through every open frequency. It wasn't forced. It wasn't mocking. It was ancient, powerful, and terrifying. It was humanity's sound of war disguised as joy. It was the laughter of a species that had survived extinction after extinction and learned to smile in the face of annihilation aboard the alien flagship. The lights dimmed as the sound filled their communications array. Relta whispered, "They're mocking us publicly." Tyron's voice trembled with rage. "Silence that signal." But every attempt failed. The laughter grew louder, spilling through their systems like a virus. Screens across the fleet flickered, showing flashes of human faces, pilots, soldiers, engineers, each smiling, unafraid. Then came a simple transmission from Earth's orbit. "If you call this protection, Commander, I'd hate to see what you call surrender." The laughter reached the Galactic Council homeworld hours later. Ambassadors from dozens of races gathered, watching as their networks filled with human messages. Every clip, every sound carried the same theme: humanity's amusement at their arrogance. The council leader, an ancient being of crystalline form, leaned forward and whispered, "No one laughs like that when they are weak." In that moment, the galaxy began to understand. Humanity wasn't defying the Union because it was foolish. It was defying them because it could afford to. Back on Earth, night fell once more from hidden stations across the planet. Encrypted signals spread through the defense network. Phase dawn initiated. The orbital grid shifted from passive to active observation mode, its sensors aligning on every alien ship. They still hadn't fired a single shot, and yet, every alien commander felt a growing unease. Tyron stared at the latest scans, readings fluctuating across his hull, strange energy distortions near the upper atmosphere. "Commander," one officer said quietly, "I think the humans are laughing at us." Tyron's voice dropped to a whisper. "Then we'll see how long they can laugh when the stars burn." But deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, hidden under miles of pressure and darkness, a voice spoke softly over a secure frequency. "Let them think that," General Hale said. "Laughter is just humanity's way of warning the universe that it's too late." The communication ended, and in the silence that followed, the grid hummed to life. Above the Earth, invisible weapons rotated into position. Across the solar system, ghost fleets adjusted their orbits. The humans didn't need to shout, didn't need to threaten. Their laughter had already declared everything. And far away in the cold vacuum between stars, the universe finally began to listen. Because humanity's laughter was not the sound of fear, it was the sound of awakening. The revelation, For hours, the galaxy buzzed with confusion and fear. The Galactic Union's proud announcement had turned into humiliation. Billions had witnessed the humans interrupting a live transmission, their voices calm, their laughter echoing across the void like thunder. But what terrified the other races most wasn't the defiance, it was the confidence. No species laughed like that under threat, unless they knew something the galaxy didn't. Commander Tyron stormed through the flagship corridors, his silver cloak dragging behind him, his claws clinking on the metal floor. His officers followed in silence. Afraid to speak, every system had been breached, every frequency jammed, and yet no trace of human interference could be found. "It's impossible," Relta whispered. "They don't possess the technology to hack us." Tyron's eyes narrowed. Then how are they doing it? He looked back at the holographic image of Earth, floating serenely in space. "Find their source," he growled. "I want every ship scanning every orbit, every rock, every signal." While the alien fleet scattered across the solar system, searching for ghosts, the ghosts themselves moved in silence. Hidden behind Jupiter's shadow drifted the Eidolon, humanity's stealth dreadnought, its black hull absorbing every beam of light. Inside, Captain Vega watched the alien patrols spread out, her eyes cold and calculating. "Commander Tyron's getting desperate," her officer said softly. "They're scanning everything," Vega nodded. And finding nothing, she turned toward the main viewport, where the gas giant's swirling storms reflected off her ship's dark armor. "Send word to the fleet," she ordered quietly. "It's time they see what protection really looks like." Across the solar system, hundreds of hidden human ships awakened. Some in the asteroid belt, others beyond Saturn's moons. They were built in silence, away from alien eyes, their blue engines humming with restrained fury. The black arm of Earth, humanity's secret fleet, had waited decades for a moment like this. Their mission was not conquest. It was deterrence, the quiet promise that Earth could never be conquered again. Back on Earth, deep beneath the Arctic ice, a massive station called Aegis Core came to life. It was buried under kilometers of frozen rock, its existence erased from all public record. Dr. May Aurora stood at the central console, her fingers dancing across glowing keys. "Grid synchronization at 97%, an AI voice reported. She nodded, opened the mask, and above Earth, the sky shimmered. For the first time, the aliens saw it, the veil lifting. The faint distortion around Earth's orbit rippled and vanished, revealing shapes, dozens, hundreds of shapes. Black ships, silent and vast, emerging like shadows from the void. They had always been there, unseen, unheard. Patient, on the flagship, panic erupted. "Commander!" Unidentified vessels detected human origin. Tyron spun toward the screen, his eyes widening. "What? That's impossible." "They had no fleet," Relta whispered, voice trembling. "They do now." And then the data came in. Hundreds of ships powered by unknown reactors, weapons emitting quantum signatures the Union had never recorded. Each vessel bore a single symbol, an Earth insignia wrapped around a burning star. "Open a channel," Tyron barked, "now." The communication snapped to life. Captain Vega's face appeared, calm, expressionless. "Commander Tyron, this is the Earth Defense Fleet. You entered our system uninvited, claiming to protect us." She leaned slightly forward, her eyes like steel. "We appreciate the gesture, but next time, ask permission before surrounding our planet." Tyron stammered. You have warships? How long has this fleet existed?" Vega's lips curved into a faint smile. "Long enough to learn that the galaxy mistakes patience for weakness." The alien bridge fell silent. Tyron could hear his own heartbeat as he stared at the readings. Each ship outmatched his cruisers in speed, power, and precision. He realized too late that humanity had been preparing, not pleading. They hadn't been waiting for help. They had been waiting for the moment the galaxy revealed its arrogance across the galaxy. The broadcast reached every world, every station. The image of Earth's black fleet circling the planet like guardians burned into the minds of millions. For centuries, the Galactic Union had called humanity primitive, reckless, emotional. Now, they watched those primitive humans unveil weapons and ships that rivaled the oldest empires. And worst of all, they laughed while doing it. On board the flagship, Relta's voice broke the silence. "Commander, what are your orders?" Tyron's throat tightened, his pride crumbling. He looked at the fleet of dark ships surrounding Earth. Every instinct screamed to fight, but logic whispered something colder. "They've been ready for us since the beginning," he muttered. "We walked into a trap crafted by prey that was never prey." Captain Vega's voice came again, calm and deliberate. "You wanted to protect us," she said. "But protection is earned, not given." Her tone softened slightly. "Leave orbit, Commander, and remember this moment, because laughter is the last sound arrogance hears before it falls." The transmission ended. Silence filled the alien bridge. Broken only by the hum of dying pride, Tyron closed his eyes, whispering a phrase no alien had ever spoken before. "Humans are not to be provoked." Far below on Earth, General Hale stood watching the skies through the glass dome of the command tower. The stars shimmered faintly where the alien fleet once hovered. Now retreating, broken and humbled, he turned to his officers. "They came to protect us," he said softly, "but instead, they found out what we were protecting them from." Laughter filled the command room again, quiet, human, powerful. It rolled across the planet, through comms, through hearts, through history and somewhere far away. Across countless light years the galaxy trembled, because now, everyone knew, humanity didn't need protection. They were the reason protection existed. The first warning shot. The alien fleet hung motionless above Earth's orbit, their arrogance cracking under the weight of realization. The humans they had mocked, measured, and misjudged were no longer silent. Earth glowed below like a jewel encircled by shadows, shadows that moved, breathed, and watched. The once invisible human warships now filled the skies, each one a black silhouette pulsing with quiet power. Every alien eye fixed on them, every weapon readied, every instinct screaming that something ancient had just awakened. Commander Tyron stood at the viewport, his reflection fractured by flickering warning lights. "Charge plasma lances," he ordered, voice sharp but trembling beneath the surface. His pride couldn't bear the humiliation. His command couldn't tolerate the laughter. He told himself that one small strike would remind these humans who ruled the stars. But deep in his chest he already knew. Something about this world felt wrong. It wasn't fear he felt. It was the dreadful certainty that the hunter had become the prey. On board the Eidolon, Captain Vega received the intercept. Her officer whispered, "They're powering weapons." Vega didn't flinch, didn't blink, her hands clasped behind her back. "Let them," she said softly. "Sometimes arrogance must teach itself a lesson." The bridge crew watched silently as alien energy readings surged across their displays. The fleet above Earth charged their lances, bright spears of plasma gathering at their bows. For a brief moment, the skies above the planet shimmered with deadly light. Then, with a flash that split the heavens, one alien ship fired a plasma lance, pure, searing fire, shot toward Earth's upper atmosphere. The beam screamed across the void like a god's fury, but before it could even touch the air, it broke apart, the energy pulse shredded mid-flight, dissolving into fragments of light that scattered like embers in the wind. Every alien officer froze, their eyes wide with disbelief. Their attack had never reached its target. In the silence that followed, a faint hum echoed across every alien frequency, a calm, steady vibration unidentifiable. "Unstoppable, Commander," Relta said weakly. Their weapons didn't fire. But something intercepted ours. Tyron slammed his fist on the console. "Find it." But there was nothing to find. Nothing visible, nothing detectable. Then came the sound, a thunderous metallic roar rolling across the vacuum. It wasn't a weapon, it was a warning. Every alien radar flared red, registering something enormous moving in low orbit. Out of the planet's shadow rose a single human vessel, massive, black, and silent. Its surface lined with magnetic coils that glowed with white fire. The Vanguard, humanity's first planetary railgun platform, drifted into view. It didn't aim for destruction, it aimed for message. Captain Vega's voice echoed through every channel, calm and absolute. "Commander Tyron, you have violated Earth's sovereignty. Consider this your one and final warning." The coils on the Vanguard blazed brighter, charging power that made even alien reactors flicker. Then, with a single pulse, it fired. The round tore through space faster than light's reflection. It didn't hit the alien flagship. It passed beside it. A hair's width away, the magnetic wake scorched the hull, writing molten letters across the armor in glowing lines. When the flagship's sensors refocused, the message burned clear. "Leave Earth alone." No one aboard dared speak. No one dared move. Every alien ship fell silent. engines idling in fear. Relta's voice broke the silence. Trembling. "Commander, it was a warning shot." Tyron turned slowly toward her, face pale, eyes hollow. "A warning shot," he whispered. "With enough power to destroy our fleet. Across the bridge." Alarms died one by one, systems stabilized, and the cold truth settled in. Humanity hadn't just outmatched them, they had chosen not to strike. Tyron looked out the viewport again, watching the human ships holding position, their guns quiet but alive. He saw not a fragile world, but a species that had learned restraint through power, and that terrified him more than any weapon. In the Galactic Council chambers light years away, the footage of the warning shot spread faster than light. Empires gasped, monarchs trembled, warlords fell silent. A single planet, once dismissed as primitive, had just written across the stars, "We do not need your protection." For centuries, the galaxy had believed humanity was the child of the cosmos, but now they saw the truth. Earth was not the child. Earth was the elder reborn back on Earth. General Hale stood beneath the dawn sky, the first rays of sunlight washing over the ocean. Communications officers confirmed, "The alien fleet is retreating." He nodded once, eyes distant. "Good," he said quietly, "because the next round wouldn't have missed." He turned toward his officers, his tone calm yet heavy with pride. "Make sure the galaxy remembers this day, not for the battle we fought, but for the one we didn't need to." Above the world, the Vanguard powered down, its coils cooling, its silent guardians dispersing into the void. The laughter that had once filled Earth's air returned. Soft and victorious, not mocking this time, not defiant, just purely human, the kind of laughter that said, "We told you so." And in that laughter, carried through the endless dark, the stars themselves seemed to tremble, because they now understood what the Galactic Union never could. Humanity doesn't threaten. They warn, and when they warn, the universe listens. The shaking of the stars, the alien fleet broke orbit, their silver ships shrinking against the black sea of space as they retreated from Earth's gravity well. What had begun as an act of arrogance ended as a flight for survival. For the first time in Galactic Union history, an entire expedition had withdrawn without orders, without victory, without a single shot of retaliation. The silence of the void was filled with shame, with the quiet weight of something they couldn't explain, fear. From the surface, Earth watched in stillness. Billions of humans looked to the skies that night, not in terror but in quiet triumph. The stars twinkled as they always had. But to those who knew, those stars were no longer symbols of unreachable hope. They were witnesses. Witnesses to the day humanity laughed and the galaxy shuddered. In the command chamber beneath the Rockies, General Marcus Hale stood surrounded by a holographic display of the departing alien fleet. "Status report," he said calmly. His voice echoing off steel and glass, an officer responded. "The Union fleet is breaking formation. Commander Tyron's flagship has entered hyperspace." "Any transmissions?" Hale asked. "None, sir." He smiled faintly. "Good. Let their silence speak louder than their threats ever did." As the world celebrated, the hidden human fleets began to cloak once more, vanishing from radar and vision alike. The Vanguard drifted back into the shadows, its massive rail coils dimming. The Eidolon returned to its orbit near Jupiter. Silent as a phantom, one by one, the guardians of Earth disappeared. Not because they were done, but because they were never meant to be seen. The galaxy had been shown enough far away. In the Galactic Union's High Council chambers, panic simmered behind polished glass and ceremonial robes. Ambassadors shouted across languages and frequencies, "Impossible! Earth is a developing world. They must have had help." "No, they've been hiding." The crystalline council leader raised a trembling arm, the chamber falling to hush. "They did not attack," the leader said slowly. "They warned us." The room filled with whispers. "Then they could have destroyed us if they wished." "Why didn't they?" "Because," said the leader, "they are not like us." In the darkness of space, the retreating fleet limped through hyperspace corridors. Inside his command chamber, Commander Tyron sat in silence, his once pristine armor scorched by magnetic residue from the human warning shot. Relta approached hesitantly, her voice shaking. "Commander." "The Council demands a report." Tyron didn't answer, his eyes staring at the holographic image of Earth still hovering before him. Its blue surface rotated slowly. "Serene, unbothered, beautiful," he whispered at last. "Do you know what power sounds like, Relta?" She frowned. Power, sir? Tyron's voice was quiet, almost reverent. It doesn't roar. It doesn't threaten. It laughs. The transmission that reached the Galactic Council days later was brief. A single message from Tyron, his voice hollow, defeated. Do not approach the Sol system again. Humanity does not require protection. They are protection. It was the first and last order of restraint ever issued by a Union commander. And it would spread across the stars like gospel. Back on Earth, life returned to normal, or at least it seemed to. Factories reopened, broadcasts resumed, and the laughter of children filled the air again. But beneath the surface, humanity had changed. The hidden fleets stayed vigilant. The orbital ghosts continued their silent patrols, for humanity knew that the galaxy would not stay quiet forever. Curiosity would come again, greed would come again, and when it did, the stars would remember on a quiet balcony overlooking Geneva. General Hale met with Captain Vega for the first time since the standoff. The air smelled of rain and ozone, faint lights from orbit glimmering like fireflies above. You did well, Hale said softly. Vega smiled faintly. They underestimated us, Hale nodded. They always will. They stood in silence for a moment before Vega asked, Do you think they'll return? Hale's eyes lifted to the heavens. They'll come back, he said, because the galaxy always forgets who we are. Then he smiled, the kind of smile that carried both warning and pride. But when they do, we'll remind them again. That night, the first human colony ships departed for the outer rim, not in fear but in quiet confidence. Each ship bore the insignia of Earth, a single blue star wrapped in a ring of iron, a message to any who might see it. We are watching as the ships vanished into the distance. The faint hum of engines blended with laughter transmitted through the comms, laughter that rolled across the void like thunder under starlight, laughter that reminded every listening world of the day. Humanity's humor became the universe's most feared weapon, and far beyond the reach of any telescope, where light itself bowed before the void, the ancient stars flickered, not from distance but from memory, because once, long ago, they had watched a young world rise from silence, and they still trembled at the sound of that world's laughter. The day the galaxy came to protect Earth, and learned who truly protected the stars, humanity's laughter had shaken creation itself, and the echo would never fade.